We're supposed to bust open this rock for our first moon, but if you saw the title, it's clear we're not going to do that. At least not yet. We're able to skip forward by performing a sweaty jump accessing the next section. This requires a very specific angle to slide by the invisible walls. We then skipped activating the Odyssey, skipped a mandatory 2D section, it made it to the first boss, but just like me and my middle school crush, she doesn't acknowledge that we exist, but we're still able to take damage, also like my crush. We've created a sequence break, likely because we didn't collect the very first moon, so we broke it free, then attempted to grab it from this Triceratops head because that sounded tight. And just like that, we collected our first moon wrong. We're going to collect 99 more moons in the same manner, identifying how a moon is supposed to be collected, then simply not do that. Sometimes the solution is very easy, and other times that solution makes me question why my parents birthed me in the first place. I will refrain as much as possible from turning on assist mode, but sometimes it's necessary to avoid a psychological meltdown. To be clear, I'm not an Odyssey speedrunner or professional trick jumper, just a dude who enjoys this game and its quirks. I activated the Odyssey with my single moon, then smashed this wall, revealing our next victim. Typically, you're supposed to just walk up to it, but the Triceratops head is still calling our name. This made me nervous because we were really not that close. I figured I'd try again, but tweak my launch angle. This may be dead in the water because I wasn't able to get there with my current skill set, but I had one more idea. What if we bounced off something? I call this off the easy. I then fought the boss to reveal more moons. We were rewarded a triple moon, but we're not counting this because there's no special way to grab it. At this point, I was just obsessed with the Triceratops head and wanted to see how many moons we could grab from it. Alright, maybe we need to save this one for another day. Legit tried to get that moon for about 30 minutes, so I needed to move on to lift my spirits up. I figured, let's collect a moon in a way I've seen online, but never tried before. While we're doing this, just imagine what this is like from Captain Toad's perspective. Alright, back to obsessing over this moon. I wasn't even going from the Triceratops head anymore. Just wanted to grab it from a higher platform. I ended up doing something really dumb though, that taught me a valuable lesson for the entire run. Take a look at that again. This vault makes the moon grab illegitimate because we're touching the ground. This wouldn't be a problem other than Odyssey instantly saves after grabbing a moon, making them permanent. To get around this, I need to create multiple save states before going for any difficult moon. I was pretty pissed off at this point, so I moved on to the Sand Kingdom, then spotted this moon on top of an archway. You're supposed to become a bullet bill to fly over and grab it, so we didn't do that. Since we avoided using a bill, I now want to grab a moon that was never intended for one. The bill will explode automatically after about 10 seconds, so I had to lure the bill out as far as possible, then hightail it to the moon. Ah, fuck. We touched the ground again and I never made a save state. Not suffering the same fate though, I went back and did it while the moon was hollow. Now I can sleep tonight. We entered this sub-area that had invisible floors, supposed to capture this guy to reveal them, so we simply didn't do that. Next was a story moon that I wanted to make interesting. These guys with sunglasses are very, very good at running away from Mario, so I wanted to hit a triple jump, bounce off their head, then grab the moon. Sounds easy, right? This sheep herder, who's really bad at his job, has our next moon. I did a challenge for this one a while back, so I have some old footage I want to show you. I called this one the sheep bounce. Next is this sub area with a similar story. I did this a long time ago and is much, much harder. You're supposed to traverse this poison cave by becoming a bullet bill. This first jump required an extremely precise landing. The second leap was a combination of luck and skill to bounce off a bill's head. The final jump required some perfectly timed wall kicks and rainbow spins. The funny thing about that moon is everything can be skipped. Just make it up top and find this sweet coin pile.
Here comes the money.
And we also have eyes on the next moon. Once again, just supposed to fly over here with a bullet bill. So my idea was to drop down from above, grab it, then successfully make it back up without touching the ground. Next, we entered the inverted pyramid and made it to this section. A little secret, there's a moon hidden in this opening to the left, supposed to fly over with a bullet bill. So let's make it into the opening without touching the ground at all.
Here comes the money.
After this was a mandatory snooze fest of a boss fight with the Brutals. This then opened up a deep, dark hole in the ground that we naturally dove into. Then, we spotted a moon high above that you're supposed to grab by becoming a stack of Goombas. But instead, we're going to activate Maximum Sweat. Next was an extremely large gap that is supposed to be crossed by, you guessed it, Bullet William. And the first few attempts made it loud and clear that I was in way over my head. But I guess this is the definition of addiction, where I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. It became clear I was in need of an assist from our boy Bill. I mostly just got blasted. But there was one time I didn't. I legit took my wife out to dinner for celebration after hitting this, and the rest of the gap was straightforward. Sad part is, there was no moon at the end to reward this insanity, so I grabbed this secret moon from up above and called it a day. From here we spanked ass, then exited the arena to the top of the inverted pyramid, was messing around and found this moon in the tail of a Jaxie statue. I figured we should trick jump our way over and grab it from this central platform. Definitely gave Mario a few concussions on this one. We're going to act like I didn't just bounce off Cappy. I took a seat to give Mario a rest, and he looks fucking adorable. I don't know. Walked over to this ledge and spotted an eagle flying in the distance. If you touch the eagle, he coughs up a moon. So can we leap from here, touch the eagle, and grab the moon all before touching the ground? I'm sure if I didn't suck, this would be possible. I found myself at a nearby pond and collected some notes to reveal a moon. I wasn't quite sure what to do until I spotted another eagle. This gave me a brilliant idea. A 2-for-1 special, grabbing 2 moons in 1 leap. But wait, we could do something insane. A 3-for-1. Stay away from that Lakitu. Okay, this one is easy. What? Alright, activating Ultimate Sweat. You're supposed to get to the top of this building by using Glide-On from the inverted pyramid, so I wanted to see if we could get up there ourselves. Next, I wanted to see if I could get into this ruined entrance without using Jaxie. My very first attempt set the tone. After an hour or so, this was my best attempt. And yeah, at some point I activated assist mode. The hard part about these challenge videos is knowing when to throw in the towel, so I eventually took the L and figured we'd have better luck inside. I revealed a moon after collecting some music notes. My bright idea was to grab the moon from this nearby pillar. And side note, this music goes hard. First off, it's very challenging making it to the pillar in the first place. Then, we have a long jump ahead of us. A very long jump. But I was getting so close. Close enough to where I tried this jump for several hours. And then I had this jump. This one broke me. I wasn't sure how to stretch Mario's distance any further with my current skills. I was genuinely heartbroken at this point, suffering 2 major L's in a row. I moved on in the ruins and identified the primary moon. It doesn't look like you're supposed to climb this structure, so let's get up there and grab the moon. I genuinely cannot afford another failure here. Yes! Babe, we're going to Chick-fil-A. Nothing fancy now. Next, we turned into a literal rocket ship. Luckily, I already had some experience with this section, making a short on it a while back. For the first moon, we're going to reach it by bypassing this scarecrow dude and keeping Cappy. Then, grab it by not touching any of the rotating houses. And for the primary moon, I'm looking to skip everything altogether. Felt nice to get wins back to back. Next, I wanted to free this moon from prison. Hey, free my homie. I eventually found myself on top of the inverted pyramid. We took the leap and got a little boost from a sand geyser. Spotted our next moon hidden in an alley. I've never seen 2 walls so perfect for wall jumping, so I wanted to leap from somewhere and see if we could wall jump to victory. Tons more dope moons here, but I didn't want to spend the entire video in the Sand Kingdom. Loaded up the Odyssey and set off for the next stage. We arrived at the Land of Water and spotted the boss in the distance. So let's reach the boss without touching any water. Finally reached him, kicked his ass, then grabbed a triple moon to progress the story. But we'll only count this as 1 moon. This next one is a classic. Behind this wall is the stage's portrait moon. All this means is it's supposed to be impossible to reach it from anywhere in the level, or so Nintendo thought. It's not too hard, but it takes some focus, and a perfectly timed long jump. Okay, maybe Nintendo did know. Next was a sub area full of zippers. So let's grab both moons without becoming a zipper at all. I did make a short on this, so I already knew my way around. Instead of unzipping this big wall, we're gonna head this way. I wanted to see if we could grab it straight out of the air. This actually was a bit harder than I thought since we were jumping blind. Sweet. Made it into the inner area without becoming a zipper. Collecting this key reveals a moon, so to add a layer of complexity, I want to jump on all these Goombas' heads consecutively. Took a moment to corral them all, then went for it. And this king's heart was a nice surprise. Most moons are underwater and require 0 challenge, so I'm looking to get 2 more required moons so we can get the frog out of here. Spotted this super deep water hole that you're supposed to go down as a cheat sheet. Decided to put Mario at risk for a horrible death by drowning and went for it. As expected, Mario began to drown. Mario was pretty beat, but Captain Toad saved the day. I pulled this challenge out of my ass for the final Lake Kingdom moon, which isn't much different from the rest of the video. Stomp on every Goomba and Lakitu before grabbing the moon without touching the ground. That's cool, right? Right? Alright, let's bounce. Moved on to debatably one of the best kingdoms in the game. You're supposed to talk to this Sphinx so he grants us access to the level, but I skipped that and made my way up this waterfall, then laid eyes on a nut high on a tree. You're supposed to turn into this beanstalk onion creature to get up these platforms, so I wanted to do it as only Mario. The easiest challenges humble you the quickest. I spotted another nut above a fire bro. I'm not entirely sure how it's supposed to be grabbed, but I went for it. Travel deep enough into the level to activate the Wooded Kingdom guitar. Found another nut, but this was too easy. So I went back, grabbed Fire Bro, and ventured to capture the moon with him. Everything was smooth. Until it wasn't. Unsure what to do, I tried luring over an onion bro to bounce off his head, but the floor had other plans. Is this hell? I figured we'd make the most of the situation and become a tree, revealed the tree's secrets, and began attempting to reach the moon from this dirt pile. The distance was further than I thought, so a nice wall kick did the trick. Because Mario's too quick, moves too slick. Bet you didn't know Joey Jock can spit. If you want to unfollow, I get it. I started to get viciously attacked, so I decided to get the frog out of there. I went back to the challenge at hand. I performed a minor skip, then located the next story moon. We're supposed to kill this giant piranha plant to unlock a path to this further portion of the stage, but we decided to take matters into our own hands. Quickly found another moon nut and grabbed it as a reward for our skip. We skipped ahead again into the tower entrance. You're supposed to hit these P-switches, activating a path upward. I avoided those, then found another reward for our second skip. We made it to the very top and located a moon high above. I believe you're supposed to bring an onion bro all the way up here, but I wanted to grab it without one. Problem is, the moon is up there. Like, way up there. Like, I have no fucking clue how to get another inch of height up there. This one frustrated me so bad because I was so close, but I knew in my heart I didn't have the skills to reach it. Moved on to the very top to fight the Brutals. Was not looking forward to another snooze-worthy boss fight, so I spotted a ledge and was curious if we could reach it. Holy shit, I was honestly expecting to bonk on that sloped wall. This was a major skip because this shouldn't be accessible until after the boss fight. Busted another nut as a reward. Wait. I eventually found my way into this sub-area. Similar to before, you're supposed to hit this P-switch to activate a path. We're just going to avoid them as much as possible. First jump wasn't so bad. Then made our way to the first moon. The next gap was massive, and I had absolutely no way of crossing. But what if I stacked a bunch of Goombas and used them as a trampoline? Damn, I'm a genius. Shit. I conceded and hit the button activating the path to the final area. But don't worry, this is okay, because I make the rules. Shocker, another big-ass gap. To no surprise, I struggled with this one. Hard. Very hard. This is a 7 out of 10 on the Odyssey trick jump tier list, which I was completely oblivious to during these attempts. But I did have one more idea in my arsenal. Because we activated that switch, this vertical vine wall appears. What if we pulled off a wall kick right as it's disappearing? Figured it was time to progress and initiate the boss fight. Memories of my middle school crush came flooding back. The fight wasn't activating. This was likely because we didn't grab the story moon below. Smacked this dude around and got a moon that we're not counting. I wanted to try another thing I saw online once, using a rocket flower improperly. Did all that for no reason since there was nothing here. Stared at the level in the distance and identified a moon nut I wanted as a reward. Blasted this Bowser ball spitter thing to reveal a required moon. Was racking my brain on how to grab this one wrong. Then I figured a Goomba was never meant to be up here.
Tiny stomp toy in a giant war. They said, side scroller. I said, world tour. Left the castle, gift shop, keychain rack. Took 3 steps, almost turned back. Goomba on the mountain, trying not to fall. Climbing past the players who don't see you at all. They jump, you respawn, same joke, same tune, but you keep on going for that one power moon.
This unlocked the area boss, but wasn't able to damage him other than in the standard way. We finally unlocked the observation deck. This gets me excited because the highest point of any map has the most opportunity. I remember seeing a bunny at the very beginning of the stage. I want to see if I can reach him from here. While exploring earlier, I saw a moon in this spot. I think you already know what I'm about to do. Next, we found this moon behind a dirt wall. No surprise where we're grabbing it from, but I want a layer of complexity. We jump, have the tank blast open the dirt wall for us, and grab the moon all without standing on the ground. I arrived and hung out in front of the dirt wall. Why were we not getting blasted? The tank was operating perfectly fine, so why was he not shooting earlier? Well, a few more attempts taught the camera needs to be pointed at the tank for him to start blasting. So now I had to leap, keep Mario in the air, all with my camera pointed at this tank. This took many attempts, but that's the beauty about video games. You only have to accomplish your goal once. Found another sub area on top of the observation tower. We're supposed to traverse as an onion, so we're not going to do that. Spotted the main moon and the alternate moon. Wow, did this feel familiar? So we just took what we could get. Saw a tree nut that had a great opportunity for our fire bro because there's no way he's supposed to be here. I backtracked through the route he was going to take and cleared a path the best I could. Some of these jumps were still very tall, so I was extremely skeptical. Grabbed bro, climbed up the structure, and entered the platforming area. Right off the bat, I was having issues getting on top of these blocks. Popped out, broke a different block, and somehow that worked. Next, I found a completely unexpected moon nut. No matter what happens, at least we're not walking away empty-handed. We made it here, and the final stretch was straight upward. Unfortunately, though, I set this platform a little too high. Luckily, we had a local onion to assist. But damn, the next jump was also too high. To have a chance, I needed the onion to make it up here too, but of course, it was too high for him as well. I reset the stage so I could adjust that platform to be roughly halfway up. Made the trek back with homeboy, and started again. Fuck. Raised the platform a little bit further to see if we could get an onion man to the highest platform. It was settling in, this challenge might be dead. After enough heartache, I settled for a leap from the observation deck. Alright, I've had enough of this place. Saddled up and moved on to the Cloud Kingdom. Not much to do here other than punch Bowser in the dick. Then found ourselves crashed in the Lost Kingdom, one of the most ripe places in the game for collecting moons wrong. Instantly, I found a lock with the key under this ledge. We're supposed to bring an Extendo Caterpillar over to grab it. A long jump was our best bet. But we had to launch at the perfect spot. Can't be too high and can't be too far to the left. I had to squeeze as much hang time as possible out of Mario. Then we had to make it back to safety. I was shocked to pull this off when I did. I then spotted a moon in a tree. Then spotted some butterflies that looked suspicious. And nearby was another caged homie. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? It still counts. Still counts. Like an addict, I was feverishly looking for my next multi-moon hit. Made it to the top of the summit, and there was a moon. Check. Down below, there's a butterfly. With a moon. Check. Moon on a rotating platform. Check. Where is the moon going to spawn if I collect all these moon coins? Fuck yeah. Multi-moon grabbing, engaged. Man, I was feeling like hot shit after that. Like Magmar taking a dump on black asphalt during an Arizona July. Spotted our next moon on an island way in the distance. We're supposed to get there with Glide-On, but he became irrelevant when the community discovered vectoring. Next victim was on this lower ledge. Naturally, I want to grab it from the summit. A few attempts make it clear. There's no way in hell we're making it there. The good news is, this rock is glowing. This is slightly closer to the summit. With another duo moon in mind, I raced to the top of the mountain like a kid to a candy shop. This one looks pretty standard, but looks can be deceiving. This was a lot closer than I expected. Problem is, the last input we did was a dive, meaning we have no aerial control after initiating this. We're going to need a boost, and this guy was the most likely candidate for this. Messing around revealed you can bounce off his head, but no other part of his body. So we just need to hit a perfectly angled vector and bounce off his head specifically. Hopefully we can get our second off the heezy. This is gonna be a nightmare, isn't it? That was enough for the Lost Kingdom. Repaired the Odyssey and moved on to the big city. Would love to tell you I did some crazy shit to beat the boss, but no. Very linear. I decided to grab the tallest moon on the tallest tower without activating the New Donk City music. If we don't land on solid ground, we don't activate music. Simple as that. One of the hardest parts is grabbing this rail, then need to land on top of these binoculars. From here, we only need to make sure we're climbing and jumping from poles. Don't stand on the poles, don't hang from them. And you know what? Don't even look at them. Just be careful and all should go well. Whew. Didn't mean to land on the ground there, but I don't hear any music, so we should be good. Now that we're at the tallest point in the city, let's see how many moons we can collect from here. First, was this moon floating above the pool? Now I was craving some actual challenge. I placed a nut in this flower pot to have some fun with it later. And you know what? This nut too. Hey, I'm tossing here! Everyone in the city is so rude. While we wait for our seeds to grow, let's become a sewer lid and head into the sewer. This was a fun little sub area without much opportunity, until I spotted the secondary moon. New rule was to grab the moon by jumping over the entire maze section. First attempt was actually pretty close, and sigh of relief because it's actually possible. Just a matter of pulling it off. After 30 minutes of overcomplicating the jump, I tried the simplest thing I could think of. Just gotta be dumb to be a genius. I found myself jumping some rope. Got a decent score, but more importantly, the moon spawned in an awesome location. Was a kid in the candy shop again, and raced to the tallest tower. Now that our plant has grown into a full adult moon, we're going to do what we're best at. Full disclosure, I made a short on this one a while back, so I already knew how precise the jump needed to be. This time around, I would say the leap was cleaner than my initial video. I knew for a fact we could grab it from the tallest building, so I wanted to do something different. I figured since this is New Donk City, why don't we travel to the moon via taxi? I activated the moon, then went to the furthest spot away on the map and hailed a cab. Challenge was to reach the moon from here only by traveling on taxis. And yes, grabbing a pole ruins the run. I found myself yelling a lot of things I would in normal life. Your world, lady. I'm just living in it. Holy shit, go! Wow, no turn signal, huh? This challenge was super fun and slightly harder than I expected. I went into this sub area and were presented with a scooter. Naturally, we're not going to use this and run from a freaking dinosaur on foot. Running into the camera presents a lot of challenges because, well, you can't see where the hell you're going. This was very physically demanding because I was shaking the controller like a lunatic for maximum speed. I messed up very, very often. I messed up so often, in fact, that I apparently deleted a few gigabytes of failure footage that I was meaning to show you. I guess I don't get to brag on how much pain I went through to get these moves. And the sad part, I had already made a short on it a while back. Found a moon high above between two buildings. You're supposed to use platforms and trapeze poles to grab it, but the ingredients for my method is a cap throw, wall kick, rainbow spin, and some patience. This moon is the main objective. You're supposed to bounce on everyone's head to get through, so I want to do a polite run, where I don't touch a single person. Whoa, excuse me, sir. Sorry, let me get out of your way here. Turned into a rocket ship and launched to another sub-area. You're supposed to traverse all these trapeze poles, but the moon is right there. Found another sub area where you're supposed to climb these yellow poles, so we stood on top of them instead. Spotted a dumpster in the distance that I believe you're supposed to reach by capturing a Bullet William. But the main moon is at the end, and I believe you're supposed to get there with either a Bullet Bill or climbing yellow poles. This one is really easy to reach. So what if we did something difficult after grabbing it? We had to talk with Pauline to progress the story. So what if we grabbed the moon, then jumped all the way to Pauline without touching the ground? Definitely a challenge though, because you had to be a master of vectoring to make it to her cleanly. We sent more pedestrians to the psych ward by turning into a sewer grate and heading underground. We're supposed to rotate these green platforms by throwing Cappy into this contraption. We should be able to cross without doing that. After this, I did a few things to progress the story, then entered one of the most fun set pieces in gaming. This was a good send-off though, because it was time to move on. So we powered up the Odyssey and took a vacation to the beach. I was on the hunt for our first moon. Bingo. You're supposed to use one of these squid guys to shoot up and reach it. One of my first attempts let me know we were in trouble. I squeezed a few more inches out of Mario's jump. That's a lot of inches, right? I spent way too much time beating Mario's face into a pulp. Then, something came to me. Have you ever seen that bullshit where trick jumpers spam the camera in order to make adjustments on their jump? I'm not gonna claim I know what this does, but after an hour, I was desperate to try anything. Oh, that's coming up short. Oh! It's almost like those speedrunning nerds know a thing or two. I wanted the next story moon that was all the way over there. You're supposed to go down this water pit and find a pipe that puts you on top. If there's one thing I've learned during this run, it's try to keep things simple. We then went into the pipe we were supposed to come out of. Ended up going through this underground water section backwards without a cheat sheet. surprisingly, found a moon. But Mario died a horrible death due to skill issue. Wasn't so bad once we locked in though. The next story moon is under this lava pond. Devs want us to use a squid dude to spray the lava off the water, but can we grab it without doing this? Luckily, I've had prior experience, so I'll just show you what needs to be done. First, make sure you have full health. Next, acquire a nut, like this one. Place it like so. Then, grab the nearest Cheep Cheep. Move quickly though, because the nut and Cheep Cheep will despawn in about 30 seconds. With a careful enough hand, you can perform your first ever fish, nut, bounce. Get into the first pond so the Cheep Cheep doesn't despawn, and just like that, you've just grabbed a moon like someone who has nothing better to do. After enjoying a beautiful sunset, I spotted a moon hovering above the yellow lapras. I believe we need either Glidon or a squid to get it. Not totally sure. I just know we're gonna do our own thing. I waited until it came around the tower, then made a move. Then spotted this level's portrait area, and of course, we know we're not supposed to be up there. Crazy thing is, I really didn't have to try that hard. Here's a sub area where you're supposed to beat it by becoming an onion. So we're gonna do it with Mario's God-given talents. This was a super fun challenge I'd recommend to anyone because the lava keeps up the pressure while you get into a platforming rhythm. Next, spotted a moon on this cliff, which you're definitely supposed to reach it as a squid. The majority of the remaining moons were underwater. Problem is, swimming to grab them doesn't make for an entertaining YouTube video. So we saddled up and moved on to a climate that's slightly less comfortable. I immediately noticed this arrow in the background through the blizzard. I didn't have this map totally memorized, so closer inspection showed it was the portrait section for this level. So I had to have it. At first I thought, this is gonna be a casual, run-of-the-mill jump.
Let Mario do the full spin animation for the cap throw, then dive.
Not sure how it happened, and I don't really care. I just know that my nuts dropped on January 4th, 2026. And, oh yeah, this jump is a 4 out of 10. Headed off into the blizzard knowing I could take on the world. Went down this hole to the underground layer of the round folk. I climbed this pole, went around this balcony area to this tiny chest that had a moon. I wanted to grab the moon without touching this elevated walkway at all. We now have 4 story moons ahead of us, each with their own path. First door took us to this cavern. Ice paths, falling icicles, Goombas in Christmas attire, all things we're going to avoid. Then we went down the adjacent hallway into the hollow crevice. Isn't that what they used to call your mom? We collected 5 coins to reveal the main moon. And y'all know me, I'm a fuckboy for a 2-for-1 combo. Alright, I tried this challenge a few dozen times and messed up my save states permanently collecting this moon. Shame on me. So we're just gonna act like we have a cap bounce after collecting it. Damn. This would have been a sweet combo. Next entrance placed us on a snowy mountain. So let's collect a moon without touching any of this soft snow. Next up was the Wind Chill Cavern. Unlocking the main moon required us to knock all these spinies into the poison. You're supposed to just blow them off with one of these guys, so I wanted to do it manually. Seemed simple, but I actually ended up dying. Twice. Best strategy was just to spam Cappy as fast as you can. Yeah, good idea, Cappy. I honestly felt crazy after this one. I was then focused on the secondary moon. Here's the challenge. Grab the moon from this crescent. In order to pull this off, we'll need to utilize gusts of wind. They give you large amounts of acceleration, but will slow you down just as fast as you sped up. For some context, here's how far Mario gets without a wind gust. The complication was timing. I was tired of Mario freezing his ass off, so we packed up and moved on to one of the strangest kingdoms. Soup on a mountain? Fork people? Beans? This place is crazy. After a snooze-worthy brutal fight, I discovered a sub-area below. Collected another 5 coins to reveal the moon. All the way back above the entrance is this raised platform, which is where we're grabbing the moon from. This distance is way too far for Mario to cover with his usual tricks, so we're gonna need a little help from this piranha plant and burning Mario to a crisp. For my next moon, I would like to do what I've dubbed the meat loop. We skip ahead to the next area, which has a large slab of meat, then leap off the meat to collect this moon. But how do we get there? With limited space, I busted out my Joy-Cons to do the sweaty motion control leap. I was hurting, so thank Rosalina for this flag on the opposite side. Alas, we've made it to the meat. Here goes nothing. This was looking like one of those jumps again, when we come so close, but we're so far. I'm just gonna have to swallow my pride here. To address the number one thing that's on your mind, no, this is not an AI voice. This is just how I sound. Maybe I talk like a freaking robot, and okay, I'll work on that. But anyway, I'll spare you the long emotional monologue I had written for the end of this video, and simply ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. And oh yeah, you're supposed to swim up this waterfall as a lava bubble.